Hey everyone, it's me, Teresa from healthyveganlife.com, and today I'm going to finally make a follow-up video to the video that I made almost exactly 2 years ago about vitamins on a vegan diet. So I always intended to make another one of those, but about minerals, but I've kind of been procrastinating for 2 years. But I've finally done it, and I've got all my research papers here. And so we're just going to go through them. Basically, the way that I do this, if you haven't seen my previous video, is I go through each mineral and then I talk about what it does in the body, a few key functions, and then about 5 or so plant-based foods that are very rich in this mineral where you can naturally get it. But of course, if there are minerals where it's a good idea to supplement, I will definitely mention that. Without further ado, let's get started with the first one, which is calcium. Most people know that calcium is very important for building healthy bones and teeth. It's also important for muscles and neurons. It activates enzymes in the body, it regulates blood pressure, and it also helps with blood clotting in the body. Now, a lot of people are worried about not getting enough calcium when they go vegan because the dairy industry has very much focused on calcium as being a very important nutrient in their foods because it is one of the nutrients that dairy is very rich in. Fact of the matter is you can get enough on a plant-based diet. Just if you eat whole plant foods, you should be okay. Some good sources are chia seeds, kale, dried figs are really good, broccoli and other greens are also very good. There are a lot of soy yogurts and plant-based milks that are enriched with calcium in case you're worried. You can always consume those. In terms of taking calcium supplements as a vegan, the evidence is a bit inconclusive. There is more and more evidence pointing towards calcium supplements either having no benefit at all for bone density or it even having adverse effects. Some negative effects that have been associated with calcium supplements are colon polyps and kidney stones. It seems to be the case that calcium from supplements is not handled the same way by the body as calcium from food. So be careful with that. I would say try to get it from food. Next up is chromium. Chromium is a nutrient that is not very well understood yet. As far as we know now, it plays an important role in metabolism. Oftentimes people will take it to try and lose weight faster. It's hard to say which are good sources of chromium because it is so highly dependent on where the food grows and how it's being manufactured. But some good sources may be broccoli, grape juice, whole wheat and potatoes. But again, highly dependent on where it's grown and how it's grown. Third up is copper. Copper is very important for nerve and brain cell function, synthesizing proteins and enzymes, absorption of iron, building bones and tissues, and making pigment in skin and hair. Now, the best source of copper would be shiitake mushrooms because 100 grams cooked of it contains 100% of what you need in a day. Cashew nuts are also very good. Walnuts seem to be a great source. Cocoa powder, just a plain unsweetened cocoa powder is very good, and pistachio nuts as well. Then we have iodine. Iodine is very important for thyroid function, detoxification of the body of chemicals, toxins and poisons, absorption of carbohydrates, nervous system function, and the development of the brain. Now, iodine is a tricky one. The best way to get your iodine without taking a supplement is to use iodized salt and to not use prepackaged foods that have already been salted, but make your own meals and add your own iodized salt to the top once the food is cooked. If you use a half a teaspoon of iodized salt in a day, which is what for instance, Dr. McDougall recommends you use in terms of salt intake, you get 88% of what you need in a day. And then if you eat some seaweed like nori or kelp a few times a week as well, you should be getting enough. However, if you are pregnant or looking to get pregnant or breastfeeding, it's important to consult a doctor and see if supplementation is necessary. Iodine is found in whole plant foods, but only in teeny tiny amounts. If you don't consume any salt for whatever reason, I would talk to your doctor and see if supplementation might be necessary. Number 5, iron. Iron is very important for forming hemoglobin, which is important for the oxygen transport that the blood does. It is important for healthy muscles, energy in the cells, the enzyme system in the body, and making stomach acid. Some great sources of iron on a vegan diet are lentils, hearts of palms, interestingly enough, I didn't expect that one. Tofu is very good, oats and potatoes. Then we have magnesium. Magnesium is important for the energy metabolism. It helps you have energy. It metabolizes calcium. It's important for the balance of sodium and potassium. It helps transfer nerve impulses, and it helps to relax your muscles. Sometimes people can get cramps when they don't have enough magnesium and they do a lot of exercise. So what are great sources of magnesium? Let's have a look. Buckwheat groats are a great source. Black beans are very good as well. Some tofu, cashew nuts and lentils. So magnesium's not too hard to get, really. Manganese. Manganese is important for regulating blood sugar levels. It helps to make bones and cartilage. It synthesizes fatty acids and cholesterol. It is important for the thyroid because it helps produce thyroxine, which is a hormone for the thyroid, and it helps make dopamine. Great sources of manganese are brown rice, pineapple, chickpeas, tofu and spinach. And as you can see, you can find generous amounts of this mineral in all these foods, so it shouldn't be a concern. Then we've got one that I don't know how to pronounce, molybdenum. It's important for forming dental glaze, little glaze on your teeth that you have, building bones, metabolizing copper and iron, detoxifying your body of mercury, and forming enzymes. The amount of this that you can find in food is very dependent on where the food has been grown, just like chromium. But the richest sources are usually beans, lentils, and whole grains. Phosphorus is very good for building bones and teeth, fueling the muscles with energy, the function of the kidney, cell splitting, and the transfer of nerve impulses. Some fantastic sources of phosphorus are tempeh, oats, lentils, quinoa, and whole wheat products such as whole wheat bread. And you can see you can get a really good amount of these nutrients in these different food products. Next up is potassium. Potassium is very necessary for a good heart rhythm. It's important to neutralize excess sodium in the body, they balance each other out. It regulates blood pressure, it helps produce energy, and it helps with muscle contraction. Some great sources of potassium are potatoes. You can see there's a lot in only 200 grams. And when I eat potatoes, I definitely don't eat only 200 grams. Pomegranate is a very good source as well. White beans, bananas, and black beans. Next up is selenium. Selenium is an antioxidant, which means that it has some of the functions that all antioxidants have, which is to slow down aging and also strengthen the immune system. And in doing so, it fights inflammation. It supports the thyroid as well. It helps remove toxic minerals, and it produces enzymes. Now, selenium is found, of course, in Brazil nuts. So, Brazil nuts are the only nut that I actually don't like the taste of. But if you take like a few nuts a week, you will get all the selenium you need. But there's also other good sources, like oatmeal. Oats are very good. Soy yogurt is a good source. Sunflower seeds are very good as well as brown rice. Then we have sodium. Sodium is an important mineral for the balance of fluid in the body. It helps with muscle contraction, nerve function, the production of stomach acid, as well as the acid-base balance regulation within the body. Now, sodium is the only mineral where they're very worried about you getting too much, because sodium is found in salt, and salt is in everything, and everyone loves a lot of salt. If you just have half a teaspoon of iodized salt a day, if you just put it on top of your dishes that you've made, then you should get enough, and not too much, but enough. Zinc. Zinc is also an antioxidant, which means that it's good for the immune system and slows down aging. It also is important for hormone function. It helps with the absorption of B vitamins, so important for energy in that way. And it also helps with short-term memory. Zinc can be found in adzuki beans. It is also found in chickpeas, baked beans. I recently discovered how good they are on a jacket potato. You know, I live in the UK now. I am subjected to UK British food, and I actually really like baked potatoes. I actually really like baked beans on jacket potatoes, is what I meant to say. Mushrooms are a great source of zinc, as well as pumpkin seeds. I don't know why I exclaimed that. I guess I'm happy that I made it through all 13 minerals that we know of today, because we know very little, I think. We're only just discovering all there is to know about nutrients and how they affect the body, but as far as what we know now, we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I missed anything out, I'm sure you'll correct me in the comment section, which you're welcome to do. And I will see you guys next week with a different sort of video. I'm thinking what I eat, or a couple of budget meals. Really simple budget meals. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I'll see you next week. Goodbye.